Right, folks, welcome back to another episode, midweek episode of the Dundalk Preview. Alan, we've had a bit of a bad spell at the moment.
Yeah, Ryan, it's been a bit tricky to say the least. Look, we've had horses that ran well. We're hitting the placings. Friday night's card last was very tricky. Last Wednesday's I think we had probably more placed than anything. Look, this is not a bad card. A lot of horses that ran maybe on Friday looking to reverse the form against others, and plus you have a one that ran at Laytown on Monday. So I think it's not a bad card. I think you warm to it as you get into it. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we're just getting thereabouts at the minute. We're just not getting there, but hopefully that changes this week on. Starting off with the first race, the half three, it's a claimer. What do you fancy?
Yeah, look, I'm not. I'm going to go on original here. I'm going to go for Rocky Dreams, trained by Dennis Hogan. This horse really caught the eye at Laytown on Monday, staying on strongly behind stablemate All Hell Let Loose. Now, look at Hell Left Loose. But if you go back through the form, look, his last run at Dundalk's behind Monsoon when Daniel King was on board. Daniel's going to be back on board. He's a coaching distance winner. He had Caesar's Combat in behind. Look, he's at 6 runs in the all-weather, 2 wins and a second place finish being his record. If he's none the worse from the run on Monday at Laytown, look, he's going to take all the beating here. And 7-4 says it all for me.
Yeah, I am going against you in the first race anyway. I am going for Caesar's Comet, trained by James McCauley. This one is stepping back to 6 furlongs, contradicting myself from last time. I said he'd probably suit the 7 furlongs, but I think he seems to be a tricky horse to get right, in fairness. But he is definitely one I am enjoying watching racing. Never is far out of places when he runs from 6 or 7, and again ran a cracker last week, in fairness, over 7 furlongs, and again will probably be battling hard towards that line, but will be a thriller to start tonight. I know it's a tough race, but I just feeling Caesar's coming a bit more over your one there, Alan. Moving on to the second race. I absolutely love a Richard O'Brien horse, and Pandemic Princess looks like she could turn into something nice for the Kingdom Racing Syndicate. We interviewed them last year. They had Irish Acclaim, who was a tremendous horse for them. Richard seemed to have an absolutely brilliant record at Dundalk last year with the likes of Benevento, Irish Acclaim, Eloso even, who's running later in the card. Obviously, Eloso didn't win, or hasn't won yet, but he still has been thereabouts, got a lot of place money. Richard's horse is just always flight Dundalk. And I would like to see Pandemic Princess do something quite good this year. You know, them ones at Kingdom Racing Syndicate seem to know what they're doing and seem to have a good horse here for Dundalk this year. Came fourth last time. I finished very strong, was probably a bit unlucky in running, and was drawn wide, I think, as well that night. The step up to 6 furlongs will definitely be worth noting.
Yeah, look, Ryan, I'm in total agreement with you. I fancy Pandemic Princess myself. The massive thing for me is the fact that if you watch the race back, she was extremely slow from the stalls. She took a bit of rousting. She came out wide. She was 10th with a furlong to go, and she flew home to finish fourth. Now, she was closing on the leaders all the way to the lane. She's stepping up and trip. That form got a little bit. It wasn't overly strong. Rhythm is in, won it. Went on and ran in the bird catcher at Naas. Finished, I think, 7th or 8th down the field. It's probably just franked it a wee bit. She's a decent draw in stall 3 this time around. Ben Cohen's on board. If she can come away a bit quicker and lay up with them, I'd expect her to be finishing out well.
Yeah, you feel that step up to the extra furlong will help?
Yeah, I think it will. Look, if anybody wants to go back and watch it, watch the way she finished out her race. She put her head down. She battled all the way to the lane. She was definitely closing on them. I just think it's watching from the stalls. We know with certain horses around the dog, if you're left a wee bit at the stalls, it's hard to make up the ground. If she can get out with them and go with them, I'd say she'll be closing on the leaders, closing at the lane anyway.
Yeah, I'd say it's something they've definitely worked on, is her coming out of the stalls. Moving on to the third race, Alan, what are you fancying?
Yeah, look, I'm going to go back to James McCauley. I am going to go with Mushama. Ran an excellent race on debut, finished a very encouraging fourth. We were up there, Ryan, we've seen this horse. I know they think a lot of it. He's likely to come on plenty for that run. The step up and trip's going to suit. I just looked at this maiden. It looks like a lot of them are very exposed. He's coming into it off the back of a very encouraging debut effort. He's going to improve. 9-2. Look, I'd suggest people playing each way, but I think he'll definitely be buying there at the finish.
Mojama ran a good race last time. I finished well, similar to Pandemic Princess. The step up in drip's definitely going to help. And like yourself, I would ideally be playing each way, but probably wait for a bit of a drift. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be much of a drift, to be honest, right? I think 9-2 fives is probably in around what is right. It's a Shadwell cast off. We know that. We've been talking to James regarding this horse. Cost 500,000 as a yearling. They picked it up, I think, for 6-7.
Yeah.
In around that.
Around that, yeah.
Yeah, look, it's a very shrewd purchase. I think, look, if it's gonna win a maiden, I think it's probably going to be this time.
Yeah. Moving on to the halfway point of the night, the 5 o'clock race. It's a competitive wee race, this one. But I am going for the Eddie Lynham trained Linus Larrabee. Declan McDonough's taking the ride here. Back up on trip. Absolutely loves it around Dundalk. I'd probably argue that Linus Larrabee runs his best races over 7 furlongs at Dundalk. A real strong horse who's likely to be buried in the middle of the pack before making a challenge just after that bend. And one probably one of my best shots of the night, I think.
Yeah, I'm going for one that's been quite frustrating in the spell passion for Gerald Lyons and Sean Davis. Now, look, at decent draw, track and trip should suit. I just looked at the mark of 73. I think there's a wee bit of room for manoeuvre there. Probably just not getting everything just falling right. Look, as you say, Linus Larrabee was another that caught me eye, but I just think there'll be a lot of them closing. A lot of them need a strong pace. It's a tricky wee race this, but I'm hoping Spell Passion will be there towards the finish.
Yeah. The fifth race of the night, the half 5. I'm going for one that I tipped up last week. Darkened, Dennis Hogan and Joe Doyle. Darken's a horse that I have been following off cliff by, or have been following off cliff. Sorry. It's one, was it TikTok I tipped it up on? I think it was. He's won only 2 races from 34. One over hurdles, one on the flat. It's not a great horse to be following, really, in truth. But he was well beaten third last time out, in fairness. But he is capable of getting a win. I do reckon he's going to have every chance here. However, I am not keen on the price. I think he's 7-2 in places. I'd be looking more at the place betting for this one rather than the outright, I think.
Yeah, look, I'm unoriginal again. I'm going to go to the top of the market. Clado buying for Andrew Oliver and Declan McDonough. She was very, very unlucky on Friday night. She was keeping on. She was short of room inside the final furlong. She was staying on strongly, closing towards the lane. Just unlucky to get up. The booking of Declan really catches the eye for me. She's racing up the same mark. Look, Andy Oliver was very shrewd round and dog. Going to cash in on this Billy's handicap mark sooner rather than later. She was drawn in 11 the last time. She's drawn 7 this time around. If Declan can get her just to travel a little bit easier, finish out her race well, she'll be far, far too strong for these. And look, she's going to be my nap of the night. 2-1. I don't think it'll last. I'd say she'll be in around maybe 5-4 even money close to the off time.
Moving on to the 6 o'clock race, Alan, what are you going for?
Yeah, look, Ryan, again, as I said earlier on in the piece, a lot of the horses from Friday night are kind of coming up against each other. International Lady and Dreams Delivered probably served up a bit of a battle royal up the straight in Dundalk on Friday night. International Lady looks to have a slightly better. She's coming out better at the weights this time around. She's in around 9-4. She gave Dreams Delivered £7 last time. It was only beaten ahead. Look, if Dreams Delivered's penalised for that win, this time it's only £3. Look, Luke Mackett here is riding at the top of his game. It wouldn't surprise me if they went for a battle royal again, the two of them down the straight. But I just think International Lady might be the one to come out on top.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement, 100% agreement. International Lady for me, again, like you said, ran a great race last time with Dreams Delivered, beating a short head. I'd be happy to play her here with that weight penalty on Dreams Delivered, and hope that she gets one better here. Yeah, that's really it from that race. Moving on to the race 7, should I say, the half 6. Nearly missed the race though. I am going for Anthony McCann's Mockless. John Moore on board. Quite an interesting booking. I actually swear I will get on the right side of this one at some point, and I am hoping it is this week. seems to be the class act of this field, in my opinion. Anyway, I know he's carrying top weight, but I am happy to play on him. He seems to be a string of second and thirds every time I tip it, but I am hoping that he'll do one better here. And yeah, a repeat of that win from August would be nice. The one time I didn't tip him.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's funny a loud man like yourself going for the Up Monaghan Syndicate with Markles. But we'll let you have that one. The one that I'm going to put up is Solar System, trained by Leanne Breen. I'm just very, very encouraged by this horse due to one thing. It ran in Gorman Park last time on soft ground. Now, it's going to strip fitter for that, but I just read a comment on IrishRacing.com earlier on today. Leanne mentioned this horse as a very raw 3-year-old and will come on plenty as a 4-year-old. Now, if it strips much fitter for that, it's in around 14 to 1. Look, I'm happy to play each way, probably a small price, but it's one just to ignore it up Herald. I don't think it'll probably be too far away. It's an ex-Jim Bulger trained one. Went to Leanne. Kevin Manning won it for the first run. I think it dead heated with Miss Thompson. Look, it's probably it's a small each way at 14s. Markle is probably the one to beat, but don't be afraid of Solar System as closing it down.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I was very, very tempted to go for Solar System. I'm in complete agreement. If you want an each way shot, it's probably the each way shot of the night, really. Seems to be very well handicapped as well. Moving on to the last race of the night, Alan. I tipped up Rocky Roman last week, was fourth. And like I said, he's only back from a tendon injury. And John McConnell said that Rocky Roman is likely to go well at Dundalk this season. He seems to be very well handicapped, according to John McConnell. So I am again going to go for Rocky Roman here. Was fourth last time out to Tough Range. Lady Deveshi was third in that. She is running again in this. So I don't know. I think Rocky Roman, all things considered, could go one better or three better, should I say? I hope it goes three better. Yeah, no, Rocky Roman for me.
Yeah, look, you mentioned Lady Deveshi there. That's going to be my selection. Look, she ran a cracker behind Tough Range, as you said. I think if she can get a stronger pace over this trip, that was over a mile and a half. She's dropping back to a mile and a quarter. She stays further. She's going to look for something to go off strong enough. I actually think there is a couple of pace angles in the race. She finished ahead of Rockview Roman last time. She's better off at the weights. She's a decent draw in stall 3. Mikey Sheehy's on board. Look, she's going to be staying on like she did on Friday night. It's again whether she can get luck and running. I think she'd get the gaps at the right time. 7 to 2, bit of value. Look, I wouldn't put anybody off having a little reverse forecast. Lady Deveshi, Rockview Roman. Same thing as we said. There's a couple of hours that you could probably do reverse forecast through the card. We'll not be far away. We're hitting places. We're hoping for a couple of winners on the night, but I'd say we'll not be far away with either shirt in that race.
I think something we have went so close on place of games the past basically since the Dundalk started this season. We've been one off or we actually hit them. Yeah, no. Anything else, Alan? You're not next best each way?
My nap, as I said, is going to be Clatterbang. I think she's going to take a hell of a lot of beating for Declan McDonough and Andy Oliver. My next best is going to be James McCauley's Moshama. I think he's one to keep a very close eye on. Wouldn't surprise me if he won nicely and then went on to maybe better things later in the summer or later in the winter series at Dundalk. And my each way is going to be Solar System. I think Leanne Breen probably is going to get in the right side of this one again sooner rather than later. That run in Gorn should strip a lot better for it, and 14s looks massive.
I'm actually going to nap Mockless in the Haas 6. Just very interested to see John and Moore on board. I know that it is quite interesting considering he's a jumps rider, but he has been running on flat lately, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has been. He's been riding a lot for Anthony McCann. He actually rode Big Dream the other night at Dundalk. I think it was last Friday night to win for Shabra Connections. Look, Johnny Moore's going to do that. I'd say he's going to mix it between the flat and the jumps. The weight will be no issue on Mockless, so it's nice to see him. Nice to see him ride, and nice to see the jumps boys joining the flat boys over the winter.
Yeah. My next best, I'm going to go Pandemic Princess, just because I really like the look for her, and I really do think she's going to really have a good winter campaign here at Dundalk. And each way, one that just really shouldn't be 7 to 1 in my eyes, Linus Larrabee in the 5 o'clock. I just don't see why that is 7 to 1, considering how well it does run over 7 furlongs. Yeah, other than that, Alan, Breeders' Cup, do you fancy anything?
Not really, right? I haven't had a real look at it. Look at probably Parnawa. If she's more than likely going to go. The O'Brien Battalion are going to have something. I think it was Michael O'Callaghan, but I can't think of the name of his horse that's drawn one with Lee Roach in the sprint. Looked very, very impressive in a piece of work today. It's something jet, but I just can't think of it offhand. Was very. It looked like it floated across the all weather over there. So it's one to keep an eye on. There's nothing really catching the eye over the weekend. I'm going to Navan for the Fortria on Sunday. We bit of jumps action, looking through the entries today. Nothing really catches me eye. Maybe the Devil's Coachman, if he appears in the beginner's chase, might be just one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, completely agree. Was that Twilight Jet, was it?
Twilight Jet, that's actually the one, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the video myself. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah, other than that, not much else happening, is there?
No, that's it. The list of Cooley Stakes rain on Friday night. We'll probably be back for that, hopefully, as long as we're not too busy. But it looks the entries look good. I think there's a couple of English representatives that might end up come over. We'll know that tomorrow. So look, as you say, normally get the followers to like, subscribe, and hopefully we get a couple of winners on the board.
Yeah, what a bit of luck to end the bad run. Yeah, like you said, Alan, like, subscribe, and adios.